What up? I'm Bee, and welcome to my channel, where typically we talk about all things YouTube drama and current events, but today we are just here to have some fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and let everybody have some time to get in here, say hi, get acclimated, and then we will get into the fun stuff that we're gonna do. In the meantime, I am going to go ahead and share the stream, so if you don't have notifications on or they don't go out, you can go ahead and join us. Give me just 1 minute to get that done. Alright, so I've shared that, and then I want to share it on YouTube as well. Alright, so now that those are posted and taken care of, alright, let's see who's in here. We've got Bob, Oscar, Spencer has Spencer has come out of hiding to say hello. I'm so glad you're here. We've got Grace, Carolee, Sarah, Kona Bumble, Bob, Ethan under my alias name, Darnellville, hi. Hi, Kaz. Hey, Alexandra. Hi, Maria. What is up, you guys? Okay, so I want to give this little disclaimer before we get started. You can find it in the description box, but I'm just going to state it out loud for anyone who's already in here. Most of you, hopefully, well, not most of you, hopefully, but some of you I recognize from my last stream where we were talking about this. This stream is just for fun. Today is a very tense day for a lot of people. I know myself, I have been feeling it, but we are just doing a distraction. So, no politics talk. Everybody absolutely has a right to their own opinion, and it's America. We've got free speech here. You can say whatever you want, but if you're looking to share that political opinion, different stream. This one is purely for fun. Just for my moderators, I know I've got Oscar in here. Hopefully we get another one in soon, but the general rule is one political message, okay, we'll hide it and then just hope they get the message, but if it does happen again, we'll block them from commenting. I'm going to try and keep an eye out as well, so that way I can be on the lookout for it. If anybody gets blocked for sharing or gets, blocked from the stream for sharing a political opinion, you can definitely DM me after and I can unblock you from the channel. But just for this specific stream, we're not going to have any of it. So, all right. Cool. Oscar, we are on the same page. Thank you. Grace said, very stressed, but got my kitty cat snuggling with me. Oh, that's so nice. Alright, hi Marty, hi Exo Games, NatCat, and Madison. Alright, cool. So, as we have been doing for the past few weeks, we're going to go ahead and start out with a win for the week, something fun that happened, something that you're excited about, good news in your life, so we can take some time to celebrate each other. And I'll go ahead and start first. My win for the week is that... this past weekend, my mom made lasagna for me, and she made it completely dairy-free. If you know me, I'd probably talk about this a lot. I don't eat dairy. I don't get to eat dairy. I do very much enjoy it, but I can't. It doesn't make me feel good, so I don't eat it, and she made me a dairy-free lasagna, which was incredible. So, let's go ahead and share those wins for the week. Bob said, what did you have for dinner? I have not eaten dinner yet. It is 4:30 here, so I don't usually eat until a little bit later. What did you eat? Pink Circle 08 said, I made cookies today and made grilled cheese for the first time. Yum. 2 delicious things. Nat said, I'm selling double layer pumpkin cheesecakes for Thanksgiving and I already have 20 orders. Barely posted yesterday. 20 orders? That is awesome. Bryce said, my boyfriend made jalapeno poppers yesterday. So good. Sarah said, I got a 100% on my U.S. history midterm. That is incredible. I'm a big fan of history. I'm a little bit of a, I don't know, I don't like saying nerd, but like a history nerd in a nice way. So I love history, and that is awesome for you. April said, I did the laundry and put it away in the same day. That is an accomplishment for sure. By the time it's done drying, you're just like, do I have to do this? So good job. Marty said, I'm playing with makeup right now as a fun distraction, and that's pretty yay for me. Good, I hope you make a cute look. Bob said, my mom made pasta with vodka sauce, all homemade. She's the best. Ooh, that sounds really good. Grace said, one of my pre-K kiddos sent me a really sweet note. Oh, it's so nice. Oscar said, I'm making vegan cupcakes and ordering pizza on my birthday. I'm very excited. Y'all, Oscar's birthday is coming up. 2 days, if I'm remembering correctly. It's going to be on the 5th. Wish him a happy early birthday if you're in here. Carolee said, congrats, Sarah. Spencer said, this week I had a day I was expecting to be horrible, but every time something didn't work out, just led to something better and accumulated in me sitting in the nicest park in the city, being rained down upon with figs and being totally content. I love sitting outside in the rain sometimes. It just feels really nice because you can like smell it in the air. You used to live here. Arizona, rain is like non-existent. And Spencer, this is like Arizona specific, we did not have a monsoon season, basically. I mean, technically we had it. It was humid for a little bit. No rain. It's the worst. Alexandra said it was super warm today for once, so I went for a walk in the woods. I was able to relax for a little, so that's win enough for me. That sounds so nice. Maria said, a boyfriend's mom made lasagna, and he brought me a piece, which is amazing because I didn't want to cook today. That's nice. Madison said, oh, I made my grandpa a cake for his birthday, and his first cake he's eaten in 35 years. He's allergic to gluten and didn't know about the gluten-free cake mixes. Today I got all the cleaning done. They have gotten really good with like gluten-free substitutions. I'll tell you, I made some M&M cookies with like peanut butter and M&M cookies with gluten-free flour, and it literally tasted the same. So they've come really far. Spencer said, what? No monsoon. That used to be my favorite time of year. Right? It's like what I look forward to. That's one of the only good things about living in Arizona. And we did not have any. I think it sprinkled like one day. I don't know. I wasn't outside, so I didn't see it. But we've gotten like nothing. Bob said, I got a new face moisturizer this week. Needed it for the cold change. Ooh, nice. And then you should also do a skincare routine for your other channel. Maybe. And I may be having a coupon code for something really cool related to skincare to be sharing with you all on Thursday when we do a serious video, if you're interested. Oscar said it was also 70 degrees out today on my walk to the post office. Ooh, that's nice. Marty said, do you have a recipe for that, B? For the peanut butter M&M cookies, yes. I can share it. I just used a peanut butter cookie recipe that I found online, and so I'm sure I can find it again, and I can share it, and then I just added M&Ms to it. And I just subbed the gluten-free flour because it's a 1-for-1. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and I'll share it on Twitter or Instagram. Oscar said, B, do you like sweet potatoes? So I don't know if you mean sweet potatoes or sweet potatoes that are actually yams, but I do like yams. Like the ones that are orange inside. I like those a lot. Alexander said, agreed, gluten-free food has come a long way. Hate when it disintegrates as I eat it. Dairy-free food and like gluten-free food have really like stepped their game up, not even lying. At this point, I mean, it's been a long time. I think it's been like 3 years since I've had cheese. But when I first started eating dairy-free cheese, I could definitely tell the difference. And now I'm just like, oh, this tastes like cheese. So part of me is used to it, but part of me thinks it's really getting good. Grace said, I'm sure you know this, but Aldi's has great gluten-free options. It's my best friend's go-to place. We don't have Aldi's out here. When I lived in Illinois, we went to Aldi's all the time, but they don't have them out here, which makes me really sad. I loved like putting the quarter in the little slot so you could get your card out, and then you got it back at the end, but we don't get to do that anymore. Ooh, Oscar said, sweet potato chili recipe. Please do send it my way. What else? Somebody said, yeah, you got a sponsor. I did not get a sponsor, but I got sent a product to try, and I've had it for the past few weeks. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw me opening it, and I've been using it for the past few weeks, and I really, really like it. So I wanted to wait, test it out, see if it was actually like decent, if it would stand up over the past few weeks. And I had my mom actually order another thing from the website because they sent it to me for free, but I wanted my mom to like place a completely separate order to see how quickly it got there and all that, and her shipping experience was really good, and that product is good too. So they sent it to me for free, and they gave me a discount code to give y'all, which is not affiliate, but it's still pretty cool. Spencer said, I'm lactose allergic and I refuse to acknowledge it. Conceal, don't feel. Marty said, I'm also lactose intolerant and I'm super happy about the food evolution for dairy free. Absolutely. And the hardest part for me is like, I'm not lactose intolerant, because everybody wants to be like, oh, you can't take the lactate pills. And I'm like, no, because I'm not lactose intolerant. It triggers my endometriosis because of the hormones in the dairy and da-da-da-da-da. Like, it's not a lactose problem. It's a hormone problem. So I'm jealous of people who can take those lactate pills. Brianna said, hi, it's been a while since I caught a stream. I need a distraction. You got it. All right. Hi, Druggy Vibes. No worries on being late. We are just hanging out and chatting. All right, so I put a little bit of a poll out on Instagram to see what y'all wanted to talk about in the stream, and most people said spooky stories. One person said to play Among Us. I've never played it before. I see it all over Twitter, and so I was Googling it today because I was like, how do you play? I'm sure you can play on a PC. Like, what's the deal with that? And I saw a tweet from the developers being like, we're aware you're being hacked. We're working to fix it. It was from like a week ago, but that was the first tweet I saw. So I was like, probably not going to play it for the first time on a live when I've never played it before, and they're kind of having security issues. So Oscar said I post about that game so much. Everybody does. It's literally everywhere. Bing Stink said, wait, you're telling me cheese can mess with my hormones? It can. Unfortunately, it can. I have endometriosis, and I also have too much estrogen in my body. So the hormones in there are just like a double punch to the gut. All right, so like I said, most of y'all said you want to hear spooky stories. So I have a collection from, from Esquire called 10 Terrifying But True Horror Stories Reported in the News. And I wanted to ask y'all, do you want me to put it up on the screen so you can read along, or do you just want me to read it to you? Let me know. You can just say like read along or screen, so that way we can put it in the format that you guys prefer. Spencer said, mine is an enzyme allergy that actually happens with a lot of food, so I can't take lactate either. Ugh, we are not in the same boat, but kind of in the same boat. That's terrible. No, I'm gonna read them out to you guys. I'm gonna read them out. Some of you guys are like, read, please. Yeah, I'm gonna read them out. I just didn't know if y'all wanted to be able to follow along and see them on the screen. Marty McFlone said, oh, question about sharing spooky stories. Is it okay to joke around during the readings? I don't want to be disrespectful. That is a good question. I've only browsed these stories, so I don't know how dark they are. I would just use discretion. Make sure, as always, that we are not being like disrespectful to any victims in the story, but I like dark humor, so like I said, just use discretion. Excuse me. And I don't know, if it's bad enough, we'll either just not, I won't say it out loud, or we'll end up hiding it depending on what it is. But most of y'all are good about it, so let me go ahead and we will pull these up then. Let's see. If I still have it over here, y'all should be able to see it. Okay. Let me get this situated. Make myself teeny. And we will move this over. Let's see if y'all can read it. Okay. There we go. I'm going to check the chat one more time. Ooh. Any last comments before we get started? And then we will read our stories. Marty said, oh, 100%. I would never joke about a victim. I'll tempt fate and joke about serial killers and ghosts, though. Yeah, we're kind of on the same page. I feel like 9 times out of 10, we're all kind of on the same page of like, we like some dark humor every now and then. We'll roast people, but at the end of the day, we have a line. So I'm sure everything will be fine. If not, though, tag me and one of y'all tag me and we'll address it if needed. But I'm assuming we will be good. All right, let me pull these up. All right, so this, like I said, is from Esquire, and it says, a horror movie or book or show gets your heart pumping in the moment, sure, but you can at least rest easy afterwards knowing what you experienced was a work of fiction. What's more terrifying is when the real world gets creepier than anything Stephen King could dream up. Real terror happens around us every day, even if it's not always making it onto your timeline. Murders, disappearances, demonic possessions, and devil worship aren't just stories from a writer's mind, but headlines ripped straight from the news. We've rounded up some of the most horrifying, unexplained, and real-world stories below. Ooh. Spencer said, LOL, I feel like I will probably know all of these. I don't know. I browsed some of them, and I didn't immediately recognize them, so we'll see. So the first one is the Axe Murder House. That makes me think of American Horror Story, how they have the house in California. I think that's like based on where, like loosely based on the Black Dahlia murder and like the doctor who potentially did it to her. I don't know. But let's go ahead and get into it. The Vasilla Axe Murder House in Vasilla, Iowa is a well-known tourist attraction for ghost hunters and horror lovers alike. The site of a gruesome, unsolved 1912 murder in which 6 children and 2 adults had their skulls completely crushed by the axe of an unknown perpetrator was purchased in 1994, restored to its 1912 condition, and converted into a tourist destination. It costs $428 a night to stay at the old haunted home, where visitors always report a strange paranormal experiences, such as visions of a man with an axe roaming the halls or the faint screams of children. Quick poll for the chat: would y'all stay in a tourist attraction where you know something like that happened? Because I know that with the Lizzie Borden house, you can, I think it's like a bed and breakfast now. And I know you can like definitely go visit it, but I think you can actually stay there. And I don't know how I would feel about it. Anyway, in November of 2014, the haunting took a darker turn. Robert Stephen Larson Jr., 37, of Rhinelander, Wisconsin, was on a regular recreational paranormal visit with friends when true horror struck. Per Vice, his companions found him stabbed in the chest, an apparently self-inflicted wound, called 911, and Larson was brought to a nearby hospital before being helicoptered to Creighton University Medical Center in Omaha. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office said Larson suffered the self-inflicted injury at about 12:45 a.m., which is around the same time the 1912 axe murders in the house began. Creepy, excuse me. Larson recovered from his injuries, but he has never spoken publicly about what occurred that day. For Martha Lynn, the owner of the home, the incident was very upsetting. It's publicity, but it's not exactly the kind of publicity you desire to have. I don't want people thinking that when they come to the Vasilla Axe murder house, something's going to happen to them to make them do something like that. The house remains open for tourist visits and overnight stays today. You call it the Axe murder house. What do you think people are going to think about it? Marty said, I can't imagine staying in a murder house that was converted for tourism. It seems a little icky. Yeah, like, you're profiting off of tragedy. I mean, I think the lines are kind of blurred sometimes because there are a lot of tourist attractions. I mean, I went to a casino it's outside of Las Vegas. I'm trying to remember where it was. But it was in Nevada. I went to this casino because it has, like, the Bonnie and Clyde car, and it has a little movie that it plays about them, and it has, like, Clyde's shirt and a lot of other stuff that's related to their crime. And it's interesting to see it. Like, I took pictures there. I didn't know how to pose during the pictures because I'm like, I don't want to be, like, smiling about this stuff. But, like, it's Prim. It's in Prim, Nevada. It took like 2 hours to get there from Vegas on the way home to Arizona. And so we went out of our way to go there. And it was cool, but it's also kind of like, interesting. Spencer said, probably, but I don't love the touristy stuff. Grace said, depends on who I am with. Sinead said, that sounds so cool. Carolee said, nope, not that brave. I prefer my friendly ghosts. Oscar said, not trying to be near any angry spirits. Exactly. Right. Marty said, why would I ever think something bad would happen in the axe murder house? Ugh. Spencer said they never caught the guy who committed the original murders. BTW. Ooh. That is freaky. So, another question, because this came up too. So, I've been listening, okay, some of you guys might know about this podcast. I started listening to a podcast called Sinisterhood, because I do enjoy true crime content, and I've been trying to branch out and try and find other, like, good and respectful, like, to the stories podcasts to listen to about true crime. And I've started listening to them. I like them so far, but let me know if you've heard of anything that might make me leery. But they were talking about how, I don't know if it was one of the host's sisters or relatives or something, but somebody they knew was going to buy a house, and they had a son who was like 11 years old, and the realtor ended up having to disclose to them that the people who lived there before them, they died because of a double homicide, and when they looked into the story of it, they had a son who was around the same age as the people who were considering buying the house's son, and it totally freaked them out. And I don't think they ended up buying the house. And for me, I'm like, I wouldn't buy it either, to be completely honest. Like, would you buy a house where somebody was murdered, or where, like, a family member murdered somebody else? Because I think, I don't know, if somebody dies in a house, I don't think that's necessarily a bad omen. If they died peacefully or from something unexpected, that's not necessarily super dark. But if it was an intentional murder of somebody, I think I would feel very hesitant. I would feel very cautious. Christine said, who would blame them? I mean, that's scary, right? That's so creepy. Oscar said, nope, nope, nope. Grace said, oh, heck no. Marty said, how cheap is the murder house? That would be my first question. I don't know. I think it was just like, they covered everything up and they fixed it up, but I think it was just like a typical house. I don't know if it was super, bad choice of words. I was gonna say, I don't know if the price was super slashed because of it, because it wasn't a well-known crime, but that could be something to take into account. Grace said, that's where I draw the line. Carolee said, nope, 1000% nope. Spencer said probably not unless there is a badass bay window and breakfast nook. Maybe. I don't know. If it was like your dream house, maybe. But moving on. So this one is called The Haunted Doll, and in my head, my first thought was Robert the Doll, but I don't think that's what it's about. Yeah, I see Elsa. So if you're ready to ruin a lot of people's favorite kids movie, let's move on. When you think of haunted dolls, it's likely the creepy old Victorian-looking porcelain kind that springs to mind, none of which you probably have laying around. Still, don't get too comfortable around any kids' toys too soon. Oh my gosh, I can't read right now. Don't get too comfortable around any kids' toys too soon, though. A Disney's Frozen Elsa doll that was gifted for Christmas 2013 in the Houston area made headlines earlier this year when it seemingly became haunted. Per KPRC2 Houston News, the doll recited phrases from the movie Frozen and sang "Let It Go" when a button on its necklace was pressed. This sounds typical. Number 2, for 2 years it did that in English, the mother, Emily Madonia, said. In 2015, it started doing it alternating between Spanish and English. There wasn't a button that changed these, it was just random. Could that be maybe just something in the way they were manufactured? That they sold some that spoke Spanish and some that spoke English, and it just had some kind of setting? Internally that got jostled because kids are rough with things? Number 3. The family has owned the doll more than 6 years and never changed its batteries. The mother says the doll would randomly begin to speak and sing, even with its switch turned off. That sounds like a Furby to me. The family decided to throw the creepy doll out in December of 2019. Weeks later they found it inside a bench in their living room. Weeks? Weeks. Are they taking their, toters out every week? Do they have weekly trash service? The kids insisted they didn't put it there, and I believed them because they wouldn't have dug through the garbage outside, Madonia told KPRC2 Houston News. At that point, Elsa ceased to sing the English rendition of Let It Go altogether, speaking only Spanish when pressed. The family then double-bagged the bizarre doll and placed it at the bottom of their garbage, which was taken out on garbage day. They went on a trip shortly after, but when they returned, Elsa too had come back and was waiting in the backyard of their home. This time, the family mailed Elsa to a family friend in Minnesota. Sorry, friend, have this haunted doll. Who taped the haunted doll to the front bumper of his truck. It doesn't seem to have made its way back to Houston yet, as per Madonia's latest February Facebook update on the creepy doll. I'm sorry. What? You sent your friend a haunted doll? I don't know if you're superstitious or if you believe in this at all, but I absolutely believe that things can be haunted. That spirits can inhibit things. And if this stuff is true, I would not have sent it to my friend. What do you guys think? Marty said that sounds like a malfunction. Yeah, at first that's what I was kind of thinking. Feisty Penguin said, heck no. Marty said maybe the kids dug it out, though. They could be lying. That's kind of what I thought, too. I'm like, are we sure? Are we sure the kids didn't do it? Carolee said a Furby reincarnated. Feisty Penguin said I blacked out my horrific Furby memories. I kind of want a Furby now. As an adult. Marty said this is just the plot of Toy Story 3. I haven't seen Toy Story 3. Is it? Am I getting scammed right now? Spencer said, if the friend is up for it. Maybe. I don't know. Grace real quick said, is swearing allowed? Just wondering. Yes, y'all can swear. If I read it out loud, I will either not read the swear word or change it. If you say if you drop an F-bomb, I'll say frickin'. So You can say whatever you want. I just moderate what goes out, because if people have like parents or kids watching, you know, that's just my MO. But Grace also said, like, yeet it into a landfill or something. Right? Ugh. Dark Lily said, I had a fleck of dust. I had an Affleck duck that, as its batteries died, started squeaking weird words and sounds, so I'm not convinced. I wonder if that's, like, a common thing. That, like, maybe it just is set up to say different things, or, like, it has a piece of hardware. I don't know, but that, like, literally actually gave me chills. I don't know why, but it freaked me out. Cass said dismantle and burn it. Right? Alright, the next one is a deadly exorcism. Freaky. In August 2016 in North London, 26-year-old Kennedy Ife began acting strange and aggressive following a pain in his throat. He reportedly bit his father, threatened to cut off his own penis, and complained of a python or snake inside of him before his family restrained him to a bed with cable ties and excessive force. As the BBC reported, the family then set about attempting to cure Kennedy through restraint and prayer over the next 3 days, the court was told. This is 2016. Take him to a doctor. Like, he tried to harm himself. Take him to a doctor. His brother, Colin Ife, told police, it's clear that thing was in him. What we believed was a demon because it was not natural. It was clearly trying to kill him. We had to restrain him for himself. It was clear if we didn't restrain him, he could have tried to harm people in our family. Kennedy Ife had been bound to his bed for 3 days without medical attention when his brother called emergency services, explaining that Kennedy Ife was complaining of dehydration. Yeah, you got him tied to a bed for 3 days. He appeared to have developed breathing issues and was pronounced dead at 10:17 a.m. As The Independent reported, while police were at the house of Colin Ife, allegedly carried out an attempted resurrection by chanting and praying for Mr. Ife. All 7 of Kennedy Ife's family members were accused of manslaughter, false imprisonment, and causing or allowing the death of a vulnerable adult. A post-mortem examination revealed over 60 wounds, including a possible bite on Kennedy Ife's body. And his father, Kenneth Ife, along with 4 of his brothers, sustained injuries as well. The BBC reported Kenneth Ife told jurors he ordered his sons to take shifts and use overwhelming force, but denied that an association with cults, occults, and secret societies played any part in the death. After a 4-day jury deliberation, all 7 family members were cleared of charges on March 9th, 2019. Did it say exactly what he was charged with? Like, they were accused of manslaughter, false imprisonment, and causing or allowing the death of a vulnerable adult. So I don't know what they actually ended up charging them with, if it was those charges, but I don't know how you tie somebody to a bed and don't get them medical attention for 3 days and then you walk off scot-free. That is just wild. Grace said, doctor seems like the obvious answer. Are they in a religious group that doesn't believe in medical help? I have no idea. I mean, they're obviously religious. I mean, their first thought was like demon, not mental health crisis. Like, so they must be. I mean, they set up to do an exorcism. I don't know how fringe their beliefs are, but that just seems wild. Marty said, exorcism stories piss me off. I can't imagine being so confident in your own abilities that you would watch your child die instead of seeking professional help. Exactly. I mean, pray for him. Sure. Pray for him. Get a priest to come in, like, speak words of healing to him, but do that in a hospital room. Like, if I knew somebody who was acting super aggressive and, like, threatening to harm themselves, I would call a doctor or take them to a doctor. Like, I just don't understand how that's your first approach, is let's tie him down and not get him help. Dark Lily said, sounds like they were the ones that needed exorcisms. South of Grace said, how were they cleared of charges? I have no idea. That is absolutely nuts to me. Marty said, I literally watched The Exorcist last night, and that mama bear went through every avenue before she was like, okay, yeah, let's get a priest. Right. I mean, I'm somebody who is very, like, I'm critical of, like, activity like this. I'm skeptical as well. I'm skeptical in a lot of cases like this, but I do believe that if you are a spiritual person and you open yourself up to dark spirits, things can happen. So I'm not saying that, like, you know, this is impossible, but that would be my last resort, is thinking, okay, yeah, this is a demon. Like, I'd go through every logical guess or every logical avenue that you could, and then that's our last resort. Ugh. Poor dude. That's terrible. I can't believe his family... I mean, I can believe his family did it to him, but it also is just incredibly sad. What's this picture? Witches prepare themselves for a journey by broomstick to the Black Mountain circa 1650 from a 17th century Dutch copper plate by Adrianus Hubertus. That's kind of cool. Alright, next story. Dead animals in the walls. Ooh, I'm gonna butcher this name. When the Bretzus family decided to insulate their home in Auburn, Pennsylvania in 2015, they discovered that it already had been, with scores of dead animal carcasses. As Fox reported, the dead animals were wrapped in newspapers from the 1930s and 40s and were among half-used spices and other items. After removing the items, they sent hundreds of artifacts and carcasses to an expert in Kutztown. The expert attributed the rotting animals in their walls to powwow or Dutch magic, a ritual originating in the culture of the Pennsylvania Dutch to treat ailments and gain physical and spiritual protection. The Pennsylvania Dutch were a group of German-speaking settlers to Pennsylvania in the 16 and 1700s and are often of Lutheran, Mennonite, or Amish faiths. The Washington Post notes on the magic. Many of the spells deal with the care of livestock, finding water, or the treatment of minor ailments, reflecting the conditions and concerns of early American settlers. But powwow also has within it a tradition of darker spells and even of such things as conjuring demons. One notable ritual in their tradition is this hex to create loyalty in a dog. To attach a dog to a person, provided nothing else was used before to affect it, try to draw some... in my head I was like, ooh, maybe I could do this to Liberty. No. Try to draw some of your blood and let the dog eat it along with his food, and he will stay with you. The mold found on the rotting carcasses in the Bretzu home has caused illness among the family members, and they say that the odor hasn't gone away. Here's my question. Is this the end of the story? Okay, yeah. 2 questions. 1, I guess probably not. I'm thinking, like, were the organs removed? Were these, like, preserved animals? Was it kind of a taxidermy situation? But I'm guessing not if it smells in the house. And 2, how long did the family live there before they found this? Because that's not something that starts to smell overnight, right? Like, you would think that you would smell it. I don't know. You would think that you would smell it before you decided to insulate your home, is what I'm thinking, but maybe I'm wrong. What do y'all think? Yeah, exactly, Grace. Grace said, do I believe a demon could take over someone's body? This is about the last story. Yeah, do I think you should get as much medical treatment first and all other options before? Duh. Same page. Marty said, I remember when this happened, my family and I are originally from Pennsylvania, and my mom sent me this, like, can you believe? Wow. In her words, I would burn the house down. I mean, to be frank, if you can't get rid of that smell, like, you can't get rid of the decomposition of those animals, what else are you gonna do? Carolee said, treating an animal with respect will achieve the same result without taking the poor animal's life. Yeah. Dark Lily said, maybe it was animal mummies. I don't know, because my first thought was like, oh, well, they probably didn't notice it because maybe they were, mummified, or like they went through like a taxidermy process, or maybe their organs were removed and they were cleaned. Like, maybe that's how they didn't notice, but they're saying that there was mold on rotting carcasses. This sounds sketchy to me. Maybe they did it. Maybe they were involved in some of this. Because, I mean, how long would those have had to have been in there? I don't know. Something about their story isn't adding up to me. I already said, what kind of insurance claim do you have to make on that house? I have no idea. I mean, is there anything like that? I've never owned a house, so I don't have, like, home insurance. And it's like, what happens if there's some sort of, I don't know, unforeseen circumstance? How are you going to know there's animals in the walls when you buy that house? Dark Lily said mold and fungus claims. Maybe. Oh, or dead vermin infestations. I wonder if you could do that. I don't know why I'm, like, considering it so practically, but maybe. Spencer said, just from this, you would be fun to play Among Us with B. I don't know if you... Oh, yeah, you were here when I first started. I'm going to look into it. I'm somebody, though, who I, like, will fall into a hole and just want to play it all the time. I was like that for probably 6 weeks with Candy Crush, and I literally wasn't sleeping, and I was like, okay, time to get it together. But I am interested. Alright, next story. Florida devil worshipping. Ooh. Friends noticed that Danielle Harkins, a 35-year-old school teacher near St. Petersburg, Florida, started acting strangely in June of 2012, developing an interest in demonic rituals. How so? What kinds? Soon after, she was arrested for abuse of 7 of her former students, as the Tampa Bay Times reported. Danielle Harkins told the kids they needed to rid their bodies of demons as the group gathered before dusk Saturday around a small fire near St. Petersburg Pier. They should cut their skin to let the evil spirits out. Police said she told the children. Then they needed to burn the wounds to ensure those spirits would not return. When Harkins held a lighter to one teen's hand, wind blew the flames out, police said. That prompted her to douse his hand in perfume before setting it on fire. The boy suffered second-degree burns. Oh, no. How old are these kids? Another teen was cut on the neck with a broken bottle, police said. Harkins used a flame to heat a small key, which she then used to cauterize the wound. The police were notified because a friend of one of the students who participated in the ritual raised alarms. However, none of the students themselves told their parents about the event or would comment following the arrest of Harkins for aggravated battery and child abuse. NBC reported investigators said they've spoken to Harkins, but she didn't spell out what type of religion would require such drastic measures. She hasn't informed us exactly what she was trying to accomplish with this. Putz of the St. Petersburg Police Department said. That is really sad. Spencer said, so Florida. Oh, Dark Lily said, I'm an insurance agent. This is about the last story. It would be covered under hazardous or toxic residue, I think. Good to know. Check y'all's walls, guys. See what's in there. See if you can get a settlement. Jules McPhee said, realtors be like, there's nice crown molding throughout and definitely no animals in the walls. Marty said, that's not Satanism, that's just untreated mental illness. Yeah. Oh, those poor kids. That's just sad. Like, I really wonder how old those kids were. And I hope that Danielle is okay. Like, I hope they get her medical treatment. Grace said, how could you trust to send your kid to school again after a teacher did that? Yeah, that would definitely be traumatizing as a parent, because I wonder if the kids like told their parents that they were going to do something with their teacher, if they were like, oh, it's an extracurricular activity, or if she told them not to tell. This is something I would definitely want to know a lot more about. Oh, I'm just sad for everybody in the story. Christina said time for therapy. Time for therapy, potential medication, multiple treatment options. I mean, okay, so it says they're teens right here. Ooh, but still, that's traumatizing. Okay, so the next one is the death of Elisa Lam. And I feel like a lot of us probably know about this one. We can still read it though if you want. If you want me to read this one, give me an emoji thumbs up. If you're like, yes, I've heard it already, or, no, I've heard it already, I'm good, give me an emoji thumbs down. This story really kind of gets to me too. Brianna said, hey, sorry I'm late. My dad turned on the live election count thing on NBC, and I was getting stressed, so I decided to come on here because I remembered that you said you were doing this live. Stress-free, I mean, we're kind of stressed because we're reading about true crime stories, but for the most part, stress-free. Okay. Most people are saying still go ahead and read it. All right, let's go ahead and read it, and we can even watch the video. If y'all haven't seen it, it is truly, like, it makes me so just curious and so sad at the same time. Spencer said, I stayed at the Cecil Hotel while visiting LA for a private screening of the 2016 Exorcist. Spencer, why do you have the coolest life? Please, riddle me this. Everything you talk about, like, I'm just like, Spencer has a really cool life, and I'm jealous. All right, death of Elisa Lam. Elisa Lam was last seen on January 31st, 2013 in the lobby of the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. She was vacationing through the West Coast, documenting the trip on her blog and checking in with her parents every day. On January 31st, those calls stopped. Lam had vanished. Soon the police were involved and her parents arrived to help with the search. They had nothing. That February, LAPD released elevator surveillance footage of Lam before her disappearance. The footage shows Lam behaving strangely in the elevator, appearing to talk with invisible people, peering around the corner of the door, crouching in the corner, and opening and closing the door. But what exactly is going on in this video raises more questions than answers. Theories range from psychotic episodes to demonic possession to unknown assailants just out of the camera's view. Around that time, hotel guests started reporting weird things happening in the Cecil Hotel water supply. And we'll go ahead and read those after we watch this. Oh, it's like 3 minutes long. Well, we'll watch a little bit of it anyway. I wonder if I don't think there's sound on this. Yeah, there's not. But look at her. Oh. And, I was watching, I think, a Stephanie Harlow video on this, and she was saying that, like, those clothes aren't hers. They were not her size. Like, it's not something that she would typically wear. And so, I don't know if she, like, went out and bought clothes because she, I don't know, ruined hers, or if she borrowed them, or somebody else dressed her. But, oh, just look at her. Like, something is clearly wrong. Grace said, I know some people think she was playing that weird elevator game and got caught in another dimension or something. Maybe. I have heard about that game, and I'm like, you could not pay me $1 million to play that. Elevators already freak me out. I would never attempt that. Oh, Spencer, I was about to say that. Spencer said my thing about the video is that the elevator doors don't close, right? Like, I was just thinking that because I was like, those are still open. I wonder if she pressed any buttons from the time she first got in to when she got out and was, like, hopping around. I don't remember her doing that. Like, I don't remember her pressing them up until whatever she was just pressing now. Christina said, my heart breaks for this woman. No matter what happened, it's still a horrible tragedy, and may she be in peace. Yeah, absolutely. Toodles said, reminds me of footage of Emma Filipoff looking around at people we can't see. Oh, that just breaks my heart. Oscar said, this case freaks me out. Oh, Christina said, I wonder if that's normal in that hotel. If maybe they, like, the doors are notoriously slow, maybe. And then Peak Jacques said, I'm pretty sure the amount of buttons she pressed may have stalled the elevator. Could be. Yeah. So, I mean, there's another minute or so of it. Ooh, you want to watch Frenemies? But man, it's just so sad. So this is now when the guests are talking about what happened with the water supply. The shower was awful, said Sabina Bao, who spent 8 days there during the investigation. When you turned the tap on, the water was coming black first for the 2 seconds. The water was coming black first for 2 seconds, and then it was going back to normal. The tap water, quote, tasted horrible, Bao said. It had a very funny, sweety, disgusting taste. It's a very strange taste. I can barely describe it. But for a week, they never complained. We never thought anything of it, which is your first mistake. She said, we thought it was just the way it was here. I mean, I would ask. I don't know, like, where these people are from, but I would ask. I would say, hey, the water stinks real bad. Is everything good? Because even if you don't think it's like, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but even if you don't think there's a problem with the water supply because of a dead body, maybe an animal got in there, maybe a pipe burst and there's some kind of problem with contaminants. Like, I don't know. I'm obviously not a plumber, but like, you could still ask. Say, hey, this kind of stinks. Hey, this water's coming on black. Hey, it tastes weird. Is something wrong with the water, or is this how it is here? Anyway, on the morning of February 19th, a hotel employee climbed to the roof and used a ladder to investigate the hotel's water storage tanks. That's where authorities found the decomposing naked body of Lam, whose personal items were found nearby. After an autopsy, her death was labeled accidental. NBC Los Angeles reported at the time about strange circumstances in the hotel's past. The tank has a metal latch that can be opened, but authorities said access to the roof is secured with an alarm and lock. The single-room occupancy hotel has an unusual history. Night Stalker Richard Ramirez was found guilty of 14 slayings in the 1980s, lived on the 14th floor for several months in 1985, and international serial killer Jack Unterweger is suspected of, how do you say that, Unterweger? Is suspected of murdering 3 prostitutes during the time he lived there in 1991. He killed himself in jail in 1994. In 1962, a female occupant jumped out of one of the hotel's windows, killing herself and a pedestrian on whom she landed. Whew, that is heavy. Marty said, this might be a weird take, but her body language to me seems more playful than scared, like she's teasing someone. Yeah, like, I don't know, it's like, somebody made the comparison of, it's like she's playing like hide and seek. Like, she came and she ran and she hid, and she's like, okay, you guys didn't find me? Where are you? But even that is very, like, it just gives me, like, goosebumps. Because I can't imagine what it would be like to live with seeing people that other people don't see. And I'm not saying this is what happened to Eliza. But if that is what's going on, if maybe she got drugged, if she has some kind of mental illness that she wasn't able to be diagnosed with, like if she was under some sort of hallucinogenic drug or like psychotropic drug and she was seeing things that weren't there, it just feels very ominous to me. And I don't know how she got up on that roof. And I don't know how she got in that water tank. Ugh. Marty said this is the one situation where it's okay to be a Karen, complain to the hotel. Yeah, if you've got black, stinky water, Karen up, okay? Complain. Dark Lily said, I'm thinking psychic break, but that doesn't explain how she got the heavy lid open for the water tank and how she got in there. Very weird. Yeah. Brianna said, yeah, same, elevators freak me out too, but I watched too much SVU to use the stairs alone. That's why you get, you know what I have, I mean, not that this would, like, protect you in every case. I don't have my keys in here. I have, like, a little, it's not, like, it's plastic, and it has 2 holes that your fingers go through, and it has, like, pointy edges on each side. It kind of looks like an owl, like, if you look at it from the side, but you can put your fingers in there and carry it like that. And get people, if they're coming at you, I would recommend that everybody have some kind of, like, weapon or, like, self-defense tool on them at all times. Just especially if you are a woman, not to be like, oh, women are victims, women need to protect themselves. But also, not saying men are the enemy, but it happens quite a bit. So keep something with you to protect yourself. And then maybe, I don't know, be on the phone with somebody when you use the stairs. Christina said, also, who drinks hotel tap water? That's the question. Oscar said, Christina, I know, right? That's the question that we need to think about. Peak Jacques said, it's a weird death, although water tank deaths aren't too out of the norm, but it's still strange, fascinating, but haunting. And then Spencer said the water tank was locked after she went in. Marty said, I wonder if it was someone from the hotel staff who's responsible. Maybe. Oh, Oscar said, like, the cat ones. Yeah, it kind of looks like a cat. For me, it looks like an owl, but I could see it looking like a cat, too. I don't know. It's like baby blue. Rick got it for me. So I'm just like, yeah, I'll take it. I'll carry it with me. Why not? Carolee Trapp said, do you mean like a knuckle duster? Maybe. Let me look it up. What's a knuckle duster? Maybe that is what I mean. Let's see. Knuckle duster. Oh, well, the word I was thinking of was like brass knuckles, but it's definitely not brass knuckles. And that's what, like, the pictures are coming up when I search knuckle duster. Yeah. I don't know what it's called. I'm gonna have to look it up, but anyway. Ooh, Jennifer said a lot of the reports leave out that she was originally rooming with 2 other people and they asked management to move her to another room because of her odd behavior. That is definitely suspicious too. Oscar said, pro tip about those, though, do not buy the ones made out of resin. Let's take Oscar's advice. Pro tip. And then just look up self-defense cat keychain. Let's see. And then, so we've been on here for like an hour, right? Yeah. So we've been on here for like an hour. I'm probably going to stay on for another 30 minutes or so. Let's see how many more stories we have. So we have 4 more of these, like, true crime stories, but I also have a few other tabs of, like, Reddit threads, and there's one that's, what's the secret that could literally ruin your life if somebody found out? What's the funniest story you've ever read on Reddit? The am I the butthole thread, and what's the most cringeworthy thing you did to woo your crush? So, if you want to move on to something kind of funny, we could do those, or we can finish out the stories, and then if we have any time left, move on to like 1 or 2 of those. Let me know what y'all would rather do. If you want to finish this article or move on to a Reddit thread. Oscar said, self-defense cat keychain. It's very similar to that, yeah. It's different, but it looks like it's essentially the same shape, where you put your little fingers through and then you have two pointy pieces on top. All right, we're moving on. So, let's move on to what's the funniest story you have ever read on Reddit. Let's see. Okay, so you guys can see the thread here. All right. Here's the one about throwing a steak out a window. I think I've read this story before. Yeah, I have. If you guys are looking at the time I forked up by throwing my steak out the window, if you've heard this one before, let me know and we'll skip it. But if not, we can read it. I'd be so mortified, honestly, if this happened to me. Oscar said, I thought so. I'm not surprised there's more than one animal version. Yeah. I mean, the cat one looks really cute, though. Mine's just like a basic outline. Peachy said forked up. The time I hecked up. Alright, Spencer hasn't heard that one. Let's see if anybody else has. If nobody responds, I'm just going to assume y'all haven't heard it, and we'll read it. Take a sip of some water. Alright. Let's go ahead and hear what the story's about. Not heard it, haven't heard it. The time I ducked up. Alright, let's read it. Last night, my wife's boss from her brand new job invited us over for dinner. On the drive over, my wife reiterated many times to me just how important it was to make a good impression. I scoffed and arrogantly informed my silly wife that I always make good impressions. 'Cause men are the best at everything. That was just my commentary. Moving on. My wife's boss is a single lady in her 50s, so it was just the three of us. We chit-chatted over drinks and salads and seemed to be really hitting it off. She laughed at my well-timed, perfectly appropriate jokes, and my wife seemed pleased. Soon, she brought out the main course. A nice big juicy cut into my steak. I was discouraged to discover how undercooked this steak was. Now, I've had my fair share of rare steaks. I prefer medium, but I can handle rare. This was several minutes on a hot grill short of rare. I probably could have resuscitated the cow had I tried. Instead, I sat there fidgeting with my knife and fork, worrying about how I was going to get away with not eating this steak. Claim veganism? No, I'd already feigned great enthusiasm upon seeing the steak. Just then, our hostess excused herself to the kitchen to take care of some dessert preparations. As I looked across the fancy dining room table at the open window of this third-story apartment, a cartoon light bulb appeared over my head. I knew I had to be decisive, realizing that she could return at any moment. I committed. Ooh. We're buffering. Are we good, or are we still buffering? Why? Let me turn off the Wi-Fi on my phone. Maybe I'm slowing it down. Give me 1 minute. I'll pull up my stuff here real quick and see if I'm still buffering. Do. says my current stream status is poor, and we're still buffering. Oscar says Rick playing games again. He might be. I'm gonna go kick him off. Okay, so the audio seems to be fine, but the image is still buffering. Weird. Because my camera is good, like the battery's good on that, but if we can like get away with it, maybe we'll just do it with the good audio. Who knows? Let me text Rick and see. I'm just gonna ask him to like turn his Wi-Fi off on his phone. I'm gonna ask him nicely. Okay. Let's hope that fixes it. Maybe. Yeah, at least it's like at the end of the stream that we're having problems. I'm wondering if maybe I can just like use my computer webcam. If that might help. Or if maybe we're better. Or are we still buffering? It looks like we're still buffering. Shoot, okay. You guys are okay with the audio. Let me see if I can add this, if it'll make it better. If I can just add my webcam. Okay. My face is gonna be like right here. Okay. I'm like, dang, that's like so low. Let me move my stuff out of the way. I'm gonna turn off the camera and see if that helps at all. Y'all can see my candle in the background. It's pumpkin spice latte. Okay. Moving on. Oh, I should hide this because we are reading the story. Sorry, guys. Let me know if it looks okay. If not, we might just have to do audio and give up on the video, which is okay because really it's just my face for the most part. So if audio's good, I'm going to go ahead and just keep going. Let me know if an audio issue pops up, though. So, the story. I'm going to go back just like a paragraph. Just then, our hostess excused herself to the kitchen to take care of some dessert preparations. As I looked across the fancy dining room table at the open window of this third-story apartment, a cartoon light bulb appeared over my head. I knew I had to be decisive, realizing that she could return at any moment. I committed, I grabbed the steak with my hand, gently shook off the juice, and executed a perfect throw right through the center of the open window. Here's the big time FU. The window wasn't open. It was the cleanest freaking window you've ever seen in your life. That is, until my mostly raw slab of steak slammed up against it and slowly slid down, leaving a trail of bloody juice in its wake. My wife, whose steak was a nice medium rare and was unaware of my predicament, turned, jaw dropped, and stared at me like I was an alien from another planet. This look then slowly morphed into more of a "there is no place on this planet you can ever hide from me" expression of demonic anger. My wife's boss heard the thud of the steak on the window impact and came quickly. She took in the scene The steak sitting on the windowsill, the blood trail, the empty plate, and then gave me an inquisitive, puzzled look. I just didn't know what to say. It felt like a minute of silence, but was probably 3 or 4 seconds. Finally, the best I could manage was, I'm so sorry. I'm such a klutz. I don't know. I was just cutting it and it slipped. Just ask my wife. Really, I'm a klutz, right, honey? No help coming from that direction. I will clean this up. I can't believe this. I'm so sorry, etc., etc. Both women continued to stare at me like I had escaped from the loony bin as I smeared the blood around the window with my cloth napkin, dusted off the steak, and continued to mutter my incoherent explanation. I knew no one was buying the story. I knew what I had to do. I sheepishly returned to my seat and proceeded to eat every bite of that disgusting, cold, chewy, bloody, raw steak. I remained pretty quiet for the rest of the evening. My wife's only 2 words to me since the incident are, I'm fine. TLDR, tried to sneakily throw my undercooked steak through an open window, only to find it wasn't open. Oh my gosh. Update, just got the first post. I'm fine communication from my wife via text who is at work. Good news, boss's name, and I just had a good laugh over how much of an idiot you are. I hope you know you will never live this down. Love you, moron. That's terrifying. That would be like the worst experience in the world. I don't even know why you would think about like throwing it out the window. Maybe, I don't know. I'm sure there's a better way to handle it, but trying to throw it out the window is an insane solution to me. Carolee Trapp said, sorry, but you need to learn to cook steak properly, lady. Oscar's my roommate is making steak right now. Hopefully it's cooked better than this. Gosh, that's, like, I would never, I don't know how I would feel. That would be the most mortifying thing of my life. Alright, let's go ahead and we'll do one last story just because it is buffering and it's annoying to me that you guys can't have, like, a smooth audio-visual experience. So let's see what else we can find. This is another one from the time I fudged up. Cats secretly eating mushrooms while my wife was asleep in a house, secretly eating mushrooms while my wife was asleep in a house full of cats. Spencer said, gotta go. Mom is calling. Bye, Spencer. See you later. Thank you for hanging out with us. Brianna said this might be an unpopular opinion, but I like my meat well done. I don't really love red meat, but I'll do it like medium well, just because I like it to make, I like to know that it's not going to make me sick. And I know that people eat like literal raw beef, like raw cow, and they're fine, but I'm still just kind of like, I'd rather it be overdone than underdone. So I'm with you. Oscar said I used to eat it medium rare when I ate it. Christina said I would jump out that window. Oscar said, okay, well, your nails look good. Thank you. They're those Impress nails from the grocery store. I they like have like sticky glue that you use to attach that's literally on the nails. And so sometimes when your nail grows, or if your nails are too short, you can peel the glue off, and then I like have a bad habit of peeling it off from behind the nail and just, but thank you. That's a long way of saying thank you. All right, last story, and then we will dip out. This happened a good long while ago, so not really today. It was April when I started this journey. During the winter, I became a member of the Magic Mushroom Forum and was learning all I could about growing magic mushrooms. I tried it once before and grew only a yellowish-green mush that smelled of sweaty socks. But this time would be different. I had a spore print sent to me and was off to the races. I had tried mushrooms before. Sorry, it's like bothering me because I can see it buffering. I'm literally just going to hide my camera because the audio is good. So I'm literally just going to hide my camera. I can't stand this. We're just gonna hide it and read the Reddit story. Okay. and I was off to the races. I had tried mushrooms once before, about 10 years prior, and the experience was rather enjoyable. I've had way too many bad experiences with LSD to ever think about trying it, and from what I remembered, the mushroom experience was much less chaotic and harsh for me than the majority of my acid trips had been. After following every tip I could gather and about a month and a half of waiting, I have viable mushrooms drying in the food dehydrator. The whole journey from spore print to fruit was done for reasons I don't yet have a grasp on. I was thinking at the time that growing them would impart some spiritual meaning into my existence. It had been a long, long time since I had taken any illegal substance and wanted it to be special in some way. Growing them myself was an attempt at providing that, I guess. The night I took them, I really wasn't planning on doing so. I was bored out of my wits and chatting with online friends. That's what we're doing. Anyway, I told them I was going to eat my mushrooms, but didn't know how much to eat without a scale. I took a few pics of my intended dose and posted them and immediately got advice to cut the dose in half. So, with my wife asleep, I went down to the kitchen and made a concoction of purple slushy and powdered mushrooms and gulped it down. Ugh. Gross. I came back and told the chatters that the deal was done and that I was taking a shower and would be back once the fun started. In the shower, about 5 minutes, when I felt a rush, like consciousness was being pulled away from my body. I was fighting to keep it with me. I felt as though I had let it fly away and I would have had a full out-of-body experience, but for some reason I felt compelled to hold on to it. I quickly turned off the water and looked down at my feet. They seemed miles away. That's when it hit me that the shrooms were kicking in. Out of the shower, and I put on the same clothes I came in with and headed upstairs. The shower's in the basement of the house, and there's a door at the top of the stairs. Opening the door, the light from the kitchen blasted my eyes, and I got a good gauge of how far along in the experience I was. I would see that the kitchen floor looked smooth and had liquid-like texture, but before I could survey any more, my black cat ran down in the basement. I didn't want to forget about him down there and never really thought that I could just leave the door open and shoo any members of our herd that wandered down there after my trip. I trudged down the stairs after him and scooped him up and started back up the stairs. Halfway up, a brown blur flew down the stairs as another cat dove into the basement. I tossed the black one in the kitchen and went after the brown one. While picking up brown one, the black cat came back down the steps again and I scooped him up too. Now I am carrying 2 cats upstairs. At the top of the stairs, the door is wide open and I see our 3rd cat has come to investigate the commotion. As I made the final push to the top, they all jumped into action like they planned on it, or like they planned it in advance. I started laughing hysterically and let go of the cats on my arms and sat at the top step as I watched all the cats bounce down the stairs. I found the whole situation so funny. Here I am, coming up hard on mushrooms. I can feel the confusion building every second now. I have to figure out a way of getting all 5 cats out of the basement. By the time I had collected myself and devised a plan, my face was hot. Oh my gosh, this is so... was hot and objects were starting to move. The time dilation had manifested and minutes were seeming to take longer and longer. My plan was to go down and capture 1 cat at a time and usher them upstairs. Once I got to 5, the task would be complete. I raced down and grabbed the first cat I came across and ran up to the landing and tossed it pretty forcefully up the last 3 steps into the kitchen so it would get the point that I didn't want them down there. Back down I went and did the same thing. That's 2 down and 3 to go. I was getting more confused by the minute, and on the 4th cat, I forgot how many cats I had previously ushered up the stairs. Facepalm. On my way back down, I decided to count the cats downstairs, and that would let me know how many were upstairs. Unfortunately, the whole time I had neglected one key detail in my foolproof plan. The door was still open. Just as I reached the basement floor, the whole herd came stampeding down again. Plan A was an utter failure. Oh my gosh. Formulated just as quickly as Plan A was Plan B. Cats have got names, right? I will count the cats as I bring them up and remember the name of each cat so I don't lose track like the last time. Brilliant. I thump back down the stairs and grab Funchy, the black one, and take him upstairs. He quickly tries to run back down, and I push him back and close the door. Back down the stairs, I grab another cat, Sammy, number 2, I think, as I put her upstairs and close the door behind me. At this point, my mind is worn out after 2 cats. Things are moving very well, and walls have waves in them and on them. It is all but impossible to keep my mind on the task at hand. Those 2 things, coupled with the fact that the time dilation is making the last 5 minutes chasing these beasts feel like I have been at it for hours. It's making this fool's errand about as much as my brain could handle in its current state. I trudge on, trying to complete the task, and grab another cat. At the top of the stairs, I forgot where I was. Oh, wait. I trudge on, trying to complete this task, and grab another cat, but again at the top of the stairs, I forgot where I was in the order. I put the cat upstairs and tried to count the cats up there to give me an idea of how many were left, but of course they're not in the kitchen anymore, and again, it escapes me that if I just keep bringing up cats until I run out of cats to retrieve, I will be through with this cluster. Oh my lord, this is so long, but let's stick it out. Let's get through it. Unable to think past my current predicament, I race around upstairs looking for the cats that have been brought up, and they are nowhere to be found. My state had grown worse, and I started thinking that maybe they got outside, but there was no way they could get out because no one opened the door. The door! I forgot to close the basement door. F. Oscar said, I can't wait. I see you, Oscar, commenting. I can't wait for me to look at the chat and see us talking about eating popcorn in the pit with incels. Y'all, what are you talking about? What is going on in here? Bro said, I got me some of those nails, but I still haven't put them on because I had nothing to do where I wanted my nails to look cute for. Do it for yourself. I was looking at the camera like you could see me. Yeah, do it for yourself. That's what I do. Marty said, put me in the pit with the incels from last time. I'll fight them all. Oscar said, no, you don't deserve that. Oh my god. Marty said, I'm not stuck in there with them. They're stuck in there with me. Y'all are talking about, okay, we got a sign-up sheet, popcorn, drinks. Somebody needs to bring utensils. We gotta get plates, paper napkins. That was so weird. I have never ever interacted with an incel like that, so it was odd. Hope to never again. Anyway, all right, let's finish up this story. Ran back into the kitchen and down the stairs for the 50 quadrillionth time, and bam, there they were, all 5 of them, safe and I'm wondering if this guy doesn't actually have cats and he's hallucinating them. Safe and sound, I had found the missing cats. Hallelujah, they weren't outside. My wife would have killed me if they were gone. Me all high and stuff, and the cats go missing. I might as well pack my stuff and go. What a relief. I love my kitties. Kiss, kiss. Wait, are we still in the basement? String of profanities. Just a slur. I am done. My mental ability is gone. Each trip up and down felt like an eternity. I had only just enough energy left to get up the stairs to the couch. I kneel by the couch and think about what I'm going to do. I am mentally exhausted because apparently counting to 5 is impossible while on mushrooms. My mind racing to come up with a solution to this impossible problem, and never once did I just think of leaving them down there until they found something more entertaining to do than drive me out of my mind. The white flag was up. It was over. I needed the big gun. It was 2 or 3 a.m., and she had to get up and go to work in the morning, but I had no choice. I needed an adult. I have to wake my wife. She would make it all better. She will damn those hellions, and all will be fine. But it wasn't fine. I went upstairs to our room and woke her in the gentlest way possible, by jumping on the bed and yelling, "Help! I took mushrooms! 5 cats in the basement, and I can only count to 4. Not the way I had envisioned it going down in my head, but I was happy to get that much out without forgetting the reason I woke her up in the first place. Oh my gosh. Sleepily, she marched down the stairs, and I lead her to the kitchen, where the basement door was wide open. All I could do was stand at the door and point down the stairs. I think I may have whimpered a little too with my gesture. She was not amused. I thought I was finally going to get closure. She would get the cats from the basement, and I would be saved. But no, my savior turned to tormentor as she said the only words in the world that could crush me into an even more pitiful state. Well, go get him, she said. She didn't understand that I was fighting this fight for what seemed like days and wanted nothing more than to curl up in the corner and cry till I fell asleep. She had no clue how close I was to a breakdown. Tears welled up as I crossed the threshold of the basement door and descended again into my personal hell. I scooped up a kitty and carried it upstairs, setting it on the kitchen floor. "One," my wife said in a long, drawn-out voice like she was talking to a 2-year-old. Back down I went to grab another bundle of joy and slinked up the stairs only to be shamed again by a long, drawn-out 2. By the third cat, short, audible poo-poo sounds were coming from me as I was almost to the breaking point. My wife had begun to laugh at me and seemed to laugh harder each time I came up, even more beaten than before. When the last came up, I was greeted by a sighing 5. Now was that so hard by my wife? I tried to apologize, but she waved me off with a stern, "We'll talk about this in the morning," and walked upstairs to bed. The cat ordeal was over, but the trip was far from it. I was immensely grateful to my online buddies who talked me into halving the dose because the rest of the night was filled with confusion and mind messery and intense time dilation. Not really a bad trip as bad trips go, but not all that enjoyable. I think I can cross mushies off the list of viable boredom relievers. I won't be doing them again anytime soon, that is for sure. Too long didn't read, ate magic mushrooms for the first time in many years, and chased cats out of the basement all night until I gave up and got my wife to come tame the beasts. My gosh. That poor dude. Ugh, Oscar, you're mad you missed the incel? Don't be too mad. Dude was not our best friend. The thing is, from the second, I'm not, in the incel community, so I don't know how to spot one, but, the second I saw this person come into the chat, I was like, something's off. And I can't just, boot this dude because he gives me weird energy. We gotta, free and fair place for everybody to hang out. But like I said, from the second he came in, I felt off. And then he just kept derailing the chat, and then he finally said something about foreigners coming in to take all of the women here. So we were like, yes, we get to boot you now. Audrey said, "Oh, I have a sacrificial decorative dagger. I'll bring that." Okay, does everybody know what they need to bring to the pit? Oscar said, "I want to know how he knew there were 5 if he could only count to 4. Good question. I wonder if he just, knew? He's like, oh, there should be 5 here, but I keep losing track. Lucy said, LMAO, you can smell an incel a mile away. Marty said, don't do drugs without supervision or be an incel, the real moral of the live stream. That is the wisdom I have to give you today. Do not be an incel. Alright, well, let's see if I can put my video back up, and maybe we're running smoothly again. Who knows? But that's all I've got for you guys today. I gotta go make dinner. I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for putting up with any sort of technical issues we may have. I'm glad that the audio stayed in and stayed good. And that's pretty much all I've got. On Thursday, we'll be doing a live stream as of now, if all goes well. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Anyway, we'll be doing a live stream on Thursday talking about the lawsuits and sharing that product that I was talking to you guys about. So if you're looking for new skincare accoutrements, be on the lookout for that. And that's really all I got. Thanks everybody for being cool. Thanks for being chill and respecting the rules of the stream. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. And no matter what, know that I am thinking about you. I am sending you guys so much love and light and comfort. If you choose not to accept it, that's fine. But just know that everything's going to be okay. We're going to do our best, and take care of yourself. Be nice to other people. Spread love if you can. Give love to yourself. That's all I've got. Thank you for